Hey, everyone. Hi. Welcome. All right. So tonight joining me is Coach K. I have a whole bunch of questions for him. He's not here yet. He said that he is unlikely to be able to join until for about an hour. So I figured that would be fine. So we could just do the first hour talking about, other tons of things have happened today. For one thing, the general price of cryptocurrency is going up. And so, I don't know, maybe people will be thinking that they should take profits and put it into Hex, especially with more people getting exposed to Hex. Today we saw Richard on VipBoy's stream. What'd you guys think? How did he do? Any comments? I mean, he won, obviously. Was there ever any doubt that he would? No, right? They planned it. They had to have. They'd be like, okay, Richard's coming on. We know that he's going to win. Hey, Sammy. How's it going? So I thought he did really well. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought if you guys want to have a conversation about that. Yes, while we're waiting for Coach K and for some more people to come into the live stream. Oh, he's actually here. I was not expecting him for a while, but let's let him in, okay? Hey,
what's up?
Hey, so I wasn't actually expecting you for another hour.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But you're welcome. No, I'm happy to have you here. I just have to go grab my notebook because I wrote down my questions for you. Hang on.
For sure.
We're right back.
No worries. What's up, everyone? For me, it's really early in the morning, so I would have rather waited an hour, actually, but that's true.
Yeah, I thought that you said that you had to wait an hour because, I don't know, something like your kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the timing for us is an hour different than we thought, but that's totally cool.
Cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
All worked out.
No issues. It's all chilling. It's just early in the morning for me, so
thanks so
I didn't
much.
really sleep a lot.
Thanks for being here. Really, really appreciate your time and you coming on.
My pleasure.
So what was funny is that I became aware of you a few months ago because you covered Persistence, which is a project that the marketing company that I work for represents. And
Nice.
So I was looking for your tags everywhere and I couldn't find you on Twitter. And then I found you and I was like, oh, he follows me. How? I didn't know that. Then we started talking and making random inappropriate comments to each other regularly.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
The only way a random sex comments online, because that's what makes life much happier every day.
I mean, I really enjoy it. I know that some people find it distasteful, but it makes my day better.
You know what? People that can't laugh at sex jokes, I mean, maybe they're just a little too butthole tight and they need to loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. maybe. All right.
Life's about laughter, man. We're all stuck in shitty situations around the world, so we should be laughing and trying to, be positive and not be depressed and shit,
Totally, right? And if someone doesn't like what you're saying or what your what your content is about, they can feel free to unfollow.
You really can't make everyone happy. I've learned this. I mean, people love you when you make the right calls and everything goes well, and they tell you you're a god, and all that whole time you're telling people there's going to be a time when the market's going to pull back. We're going to have times where we lose money. This is normal. Traders lose 40% of their trades on average that are good traders, and then it's and yeah, it's just reality.
Yeah, it is. So you're a trader.
Yes.
So I have questions about that, but first I kind of wanted to get introduction because I've watched some of your content. I watched your most recent video from 12 or 15 hours ago or something, mm-hmm. and I've obviously seen some of your other coverage from earlier, but I really don't know anything about your story and what brought you into cryptocurrency.
Yeah. So my story started in the first time I ever heard of Bitcoin was 2011. My friends were literally just like getting into it, and they were like, "You should mine it with us." And I was like, "I don't know. It sounds like just a computer currency. It sounds like a game." I thought of it as lemmings. 2012 and then 2013, I moved to Thailand, and the teachers that were here at the school were like, "Yo, Bitcoin," and they were like, "You should just buy some off of us. Get a little bit, buy $500." So that's what I did, and then. Yeah, and that was right at the time, like just like I think it was like a month or two later, the market dropped like I don't even know, like 60%. It was like the first time that I actually had but I only put $500 in, so it wasn't like I'm getting wrecked technically. It was just like, okay, I've lost a few $100, and then I forgot about Bitcoin until 2016. End of 2016, start 2017, those same friends from 2011, the same friends from 2013 were like, "Yo, check Bitcoin out," and it was like crushing. I think it was about $800, $900. It was starting towards 1,000. It was like, oh, it was at the time I'd watched it go to 1,000 and come back down. So it was like, all right, wicked. So it came back up, and I started looking online, and I was like, there's no one really trying to teach anyone anything. They're all really focused on just like shilling and not really giving any information, and people are just aping in, kind of like we just saw in this cycle, right? Like I've seen this cycle happen a couple times actually before, so I was kind of expecting this. It's kind of why I warn people a lot more than a lot of other people to take profit, because this stuff does happen, and you kind of have to see the reality of the market. And then a lot of the time for people like us, the last cycle, we have to like go through the pain of like, okay, this is how trading is or how investing is in this volatile market. You can love it, but it's something you have to be prepared for. And so when I got into crypto is like just like to help people. And my goal always when I really got to the point where I was starting to make really good trades and it really was like honed in on the industry, my goal was get 100 people or more to be millionaires. And like, I wasn't a millionaire yet either. I was just like, I'm going to make a millionaires club, which started off as a future millionaires club. And it was 4 years. We're just bantering, people getting kicked out for being, not so nice, and people, staying for a very long time. And we just built a community around that. And then, really taught them mindsets of trading, like not and investing and not really trying to get money quick. Like my saying is, get broke quick. If you try to do it, if you try to make money quickly, you really will lose money quickly. If you try to be patient and make money over time, like a marathon, you will see exponential gains over time. And actually, it still will be fast, but it just won't be instant like we're used to with these Dogecoin, meme coin things that are happening right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that because, Hex is about the monetization of time very specifically, and really like, teaching people good behaviors with their money in terms of like time expectancy for returns. Now, that's not to say that people haven't become millionaires and beyond very, very, very quickly, because that's definitely happened. But they have done so without the need to be glued to their screens, making trades day in and day out, which is super unhealthy for us. And I mean, as a trader, that's got to be something that you've noticed.
Well, I mean, the thing is, good traders don't trade all day. I look at the screen. I have scanning bots that are looking for my strategy setups, and then it's like, oh, this is set up, that's set up. So I'm just like doing my normal day. And remember, like outside of crypto, like I own a weed farm, I own a law firm, I own 2 trading companies. I'm a chief dealer for the desk of a trading desk. So I'm very active and very busy outside, but it's all related. A lot of the stuff what I do, other than like the weed stuff, is really related to crypto. The law firm does a lot of the stuff for the projects, doing SAFs or, doing legal opinions or whatever. So I've tied a lot of things in. And then, I've worked with a lot of the projects in the space that I personally think will have a long-term outlook, even if the price drops. Because like the one thing everyone values projects on is about price. But the thing is, if a project 100x is out the gate, you got to expect it to pull back. And if the market gets bearish, you got to expect it to pull back pretty hard. And, this is why we have to take profit or take our initial out. And I think like the people that are smartest that I've met that are investors, they just like, if they invest $5,000 and their investment goes to 10, they take their 5 out. Now you have no risk. Now you can't be emotional. Market drops 60%. You have no risk. You don't. I mean, you may hate that you lose profit, but you don't really lose money. And I don't know. I think that a lot of people like yourself, from what you said, you're a great risk manager. You don't have to be a good trader. Traders are not really like rocket scientists. A lot of people think you're like so smart and like, oh my God, you're following a set of strategies. It's like, if this happens and this happens and this happens, and this happens, then it's probably a good entry point. And then your experience will tell you, yeah, probably it is based off of what the chart shows. So okay. I only change bullish, bearish, all that stuff when the market tells me, and I only use the chart to tell me that. So a lot of people on Twitter, you're seeing like, and I think you see it too, the emotional side, like,
oh yeah,
oh my God, everything's going up, everything goes down. And I'm like, yeah, I'm bearish. The daily chart's bearish. And then all of a sudden yesterday, everyone's like, oh my God, you said you're bullish on lower time frames. And I'm like, well, if we're going to get bullish again on the high time frames, we have to get bullish on the lower time frames first. And so I wasn't sure we're going to like really moon, but I saw opportunities. And so you just have to not attach emotion or care about which project. Like I personally, if I looked at Hex and I thought there's a trade there, I'm gonna long that trade, right?
So let's look at it.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I want to do, because I was like, so you're a trader, and I watched your most recent video, and I watched you chart several assets, and I'm like, why aren't you charting Hex? Let's chart.
I actually did on one of my feeds a couple months ago, and I think Hex has done like a 3x since that point. I told people like, yeah, it looks pretty strong. Like it was going up, and obviously the point of Hex is to go up when the market gets bearish. So I was like, this would make sense for this asset to increase in value. And so it goes up in value. And everyone's like, I thought you hated Hex. I was like, I don't really care, to be honest. I just didn't like I was telling you.
Yeah, so actually that's another point.
I just saw the worst part of Richard Hart, to be honest. Like I saw him on Chris Rice Crypto. He's my friend. We used to do some podcasting together. I saw him in his stuff, and I loved his stuff when he was on there. But then he just, I don't know if it was just a Peter McCormick thing or if it was a couple of the people that trolled him that pissed him off and made him go like off on them. But it was just like, I don't want to invest in this because I don't like that attitude, and I invest in people a lot of the time. And so maybe I was harsh towards him, but I think a lot of the crypto community acted quite harshly towards that type of reaction towards other people. And
I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
I don't care. I just didn't like that perspective. And maybe, and I still have traded Hex. Like, it's not like I haven't looked at Hex and been like, oh, there's a good opportunity to trade. I'm not going to trade it because I don't like Richard. No, I'm going to trade it. You know what I mean? So that's really what it comes down to. And I think there's a lot of perspectives, and you probably see this a lot. A lot of people like attach what they think of you as on Twitter. And they expect you to be this person that's like perfect and you never make mistakes. And I think we need to get away from like perfection and everyone doing.
I make mistakes on Twitter. I'm full blown crazy all the time.
Yeah. Shit post, have fun. I mean, life is too damn short. Like, what's the point of being serious all the time? And I think that some people like that and some people really dislike that, to be honest. But, there's, 8 billion people in the world? You can't make everybody happy.
That's true. I've been trying, and it's really difficult to make everyone happy at the same time.
The key is to not try and just be yourself. And the people that really appreciate you for who you are and what you really stand for will always come to you like glue.
Yeah.
I believe that. Value prop. If you provide people value and it helps them and it improves their lives, they are going to follow you. And that can be in so many different ways, but as long as to that person it's valuable. So like I always tell people, some people will look at my trades and not know how to trade them, and they'll go in when I say I'm going in, but not have any idea of risk management, and they'll lose money. And the exact same person, another person who understands risk management, understands how to trade, will be like, this is a great trade, and they can follow me. I'm not telling them to do it. But the thing with CT and being an influencer is like anything you say, and you've seen this with Elon Musk, anything you say can cause a pump, can cause a dump, can cause like controversy in the industry. Like, you have to be careful. And people are very, like, no offense, but a lot of people are very sheepish about this stuff.
Oh God, yeah.
They're just like, yo, coach is going in on this. I'm going to put 60% of my whole portfolio into one trade. And you're like, yeah, so the thing is, you're not supposed to do that.
Hey,
I
so
want
speaking
you guys
of
to
really
make
quick,
money. I don't want you to get wrecked.
since we're still early, did you happen to share the link to this like stream on your Twitter? Just because I forgot to ask you. And
Did you share the link on your Twitter?
yes, I did, and I tagged you in it. It was actually earlier today.
Okay, sorry, 1 second.
No
I will
worries.
find it. I literally just woke up at like an hour ago, so I'm
Yeah,
still
no,
I just only had one coffee so far.
I hear
Here we
you.
go.
I'm about to
Where
go to
is
bed.
actual stream? You didn't
So
post the
there's
stream.
no. There's one where I did. I tagged the stream, and
Okay.
it's got the thumbnail in it.
Oh, yes, I see it now. Okay. Come join us. Yeah. So come. Let me share it with my my friends.
All your friends. I know.
Let me share it with my group, my family, my crypto fam.
Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. They'll love to see some new face, some new blood. I haven't talked to you online before, so I think that's a good thing.
What's the logo about? I actually got onto the stream a little bit late and I didn't have time to change it to mine, so I just left Joe's up there. So yeah. So
I'm not sure who Joe is.
Joe is another streamer. Joe is another streamer. His name is Joe Hexotic, and he does a show called Hex Therapy. And nice. Different people from the community kind of come and share their stories of, I don't know, different
of stories. Success, I would assume.
Sorry?
They're success stories, right? Like
they're success stories, yeah. The different trials that they've gone through, to get to where they are. It's actually really fun. I'm going on Monday.
Man,
it'll be my second
time. I was
time.
a teacher before. Like the stories, like people are like, "Oh, what did you do before crypto?" And I'm like, "I was a teacher. I was an educator."
Mm-hmm.
And they're always like, "What?" They don't understand. It's like weird for them to hear that. And they're like, but like now you're a successful investor. I'm like, so what? Like I just chose to be a teacher, but it's just a really different like lifestyle now. Just went from like working in a classroom, getting paid shit, being disrespected, by parents and administrators and all this crap, and being very political environment to be. And I've always been a very rebellious person. I'm always like, fuck the system. I don't want you to list. I don't like when people tell me how to do stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm lost my train of thought completely. What I was saying right there. Sorry, I have. You don't like being told what to do. Screens distracting me.
Yeah, the person who keeps commenting.
Who's commenting? What?
Oh no, sorry. I thought you said the screen was distracting you. There's
I am a trader, so I have like screen, and okay. I just like one of them flashed something, and I totally like my train of thought went like gone. I call those marijuana moments. When you have those, you're like, yeah, man, and it's like, fuck was I talking about?
I feel like my marijuana moments are like the actual opposite. Remember the other night we were like writing back and forth when we were booking this, and then you asked me something and I like launched into this whole thing, and then I was like, sorry, I'm high. So
yeah, that's what you did. Like a page. I'm like, oh. And you're like, yeah, sorry, I'm high. I just got really into this. I was like, good. It's great. Well, I think it was because I told you I have my farm, right? And then you were like, oh, shit, I love weed. And it was great because who doesn't really? Come on.
I feel like it definitely enhances my abilities, like my creativity, and kind of like definitely like relieves a lot of anxiety and lets me accomplish things that maybe I would be too far in my head about if I didn't, partake a little bit.
I find people who are ADHD, they smoke more weed, and I'm definitely ADHD. So, but the thing is, it's like you could take Ritalin, which turns you into a zombie, or you could smoke a joint, and like if depending on how it makes you feel, like you can be calmed down and focused. So I think a lot of people that my friends back in high school and stuff, that's a lot of time what they would do. They'd get high, and you'd think it was like parents thought it was a bad thing, but now everyone's like parents are smoking weed with them.
Yeah, for sure. My parents were smoking weed when I was in high school, and like completely 100% okay with consumption, with safe consumption. So it was never a thing that like I thought was, I didn't like really inherit those ideas.
Yeah.
And I
absolutely.
did, like, to some degree, from the world around me, but like it wasn't, right over. By the way, all right, just real quick, do you guys like my new tiara? I got it for my birthday. My mom and daughter got
Beautiful.
this one, and it's like way bigger and heavier than my normal tiaras, but I don't know. I kind of like it. You guys like it? Let me know.
Look like a princess.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I started wearing tiaras on stream because I was really just like copying some of what Richard says, which is like people like to see people who have expensive things and nice things. And that's why he was always talking about his watch, his $100,000 watches. And then I was going on, or actually I was having BitBoy come on I was interviewing BitBoy, and I was like, oh, I should like wear the blingiest jewelry that I have and see how that goes. And the response has been really positive. And then there have been like women who have commented and said, I don't normally watch, crypto content, but because my husband was watching and I saw all your jewelry, I stayed and I watched the whole thing. And I was like, well, that by itself is a reason to wear the jewelry. And you're right. This isn't a tiara. This is a crown. Mom, what? Crown. My mom says kinda. I don't know. Mom, kinda what? I don't know.
It's kind of a crown.
Specific. Kinda a crown.
But I think that's right. Like you have to have your thing. So I got these blue light glasses because I had headaches because I was watching the screens all day. And then it just became a thing. And now everyone's like, if I don't wear the glasses, like put the glasses on. And now we did a huge giveaway. So I have like a bunch of glasses. I gotta go to the mail office and mail out every 10 pairs of glasses to people.
No, Mom, funny, I don't kind of like it. I love it. So my mom's in town right now. She's visiting because it was my birthday. And you can even tell that Mom, like sometimes I'm like just walking around the house and I'm like wearing the crown and I'm like, what? I just like it.
It makes me feel Mom. Powerful. I feel like Daenerys.
Yeah, but she doesn't wear a crown. But
she doesn't.
I have always loved like, period pieces and stuff. Like I really feel like this one is wow. Yeah.
It definitely stands out.
It does. All right. How about we look at a hex chart?
Yeah, sure. Let me just pull one up. Give me a sec.
You can do that? Would that be easy? It'd probably be easier for you too than for me too.
Yeah, let me just pull it up because I don't have it yet ready. So while we're doing that, you can tell me something about hex. Wow, are we still here?
Yep, we're still here.
Okay, sorry. It went from the the StreamYard to the YouTube channel and it was frozen. I was like, oh shit, are we still on? But we're good. No, I was talking yesterday on one of my live feeds about alien worlds. The gaming sector right now is pretty hot. Axie and TLM and Alice and all these and gaming is kind of fun, right? People are bored at home right now, so I think it makes sense. But it's like it's gone crazy. It was like the easiest 20% you could make. But let me pull up Hex. Is Hex traded on? Where is Hex traded right now?
Hex is traded really only on decentralized exchanges. So if you're going to look at a chart, could you use Nomics instead of CMC because it doesn't report the accurate data?
Nomics, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. So CoinGecko is no good either?
CoinGecko also doesn't report the correct market cap.
Okay. So when I go on Hex, is it going to show me like a normal chart, or am I just going to have like a Let me see if I can pull it up on here. I don't know how it's going to look.
Trading View.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do it on Trading View. Let's see how it looks here. Actually, it should be okay. Give me a sec. Let me share my screen with you.
For those who are watching who don't know what Hex is, and just in case you're not super familiar, Coach K, it is a high yield certificate of deposit on the blockchain. It inflates locked annual inflation of 3.69%, which is how it pays its stakers. The payments to stakers come only from inflation, and the reason that the interest that it pays is greater than 3.69% now is because not 100% of the supply is locked. So I really like it. Like when I was, at first I was, really critical, and I, definitely inherited some of the biases that came from other people in the industry who I listened to, who were saying that it's a scam. And then I started to think about what a time deposit really is and all of the really cool applications that there were for time deposits. And I started to think, like, theoretically, you could time deposit buy a house. Like, you could lock a certain amount to pay out monthly or yearly and know that you were always going to have, and of course that payment would be in hex, so you would want to overestimate the amount that you would need. But it really is I think a really cool financial instrument. And I started to remember that when I was a kid, my aunts and uncles and grandparents would buy bonds or CDs for me for birthday gifts sometimes. And that when I, got a little bit older, when I graduated from high school and I needed some of that money to help cover my living costs, it was really grateful that they were there. So my sister recently had 2 babies. Well, she had one baby about a year ago, and then she just had another baby yesterday. And they both are born hexagons. So in 15 years and 15.2 years, their stakes will unlock and they'll have some money from their aunt from a CD.
Nice. It's a nice gesture for you to do.
Yeah, I thought so. And then, the way that Hex has been appreciating, of course, over time, appreciation has to slow down, but I don't know.
It actually kind of looks like right now it's on a slowdown, but that might just be the market.
I hear you for sure. It's been kind of like,
it's gone on an insane run.
For Hex especially, it's been like, this is kind of slow. But
trading only shows it on Uniswap at like a 29x, but I remember this is far, far more than that.
So the actual.
I remember when people were just claiming it for free, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah, did you free claim yours?
I think so. I can't remember. That was like 2019, right? I probably did. I don't even know. It's probably on my Trezor, maybe? I don't know. I have a lot of shit coins over the years. And, what ends up happening is I sometimes go through my Trezor or through my wallets, and I find coins I forgot about. This is hilarious.
No, that's like a present. When you do, you like log into an old exchange and you're like, there's money.
It's crazy because, you have all these, I invest like heavily in this space. So I have like hundreds of investments, and, there's vesting on these things. And sometimes you think something's done, or, you forget about something's releasing. And then, you go one day and you look and you're like, where did this money come from? So it's nice when that happens for sure. But, Hex seems to be a very nice gainer for a lot of people. And
what's great about it is that when you do time lock it, it earns more of itself. So it's
can you explain that? Can you explain that side of things? So how does Hex make the money so that it increases in value consistently? Like, where is the capital inflow coming from? Is it just people buying and locking up and then waiting? And kind of it like, if you got in early and yours unlocks first, you're kind of winning? Or like, because the one thing like I've always looked at as someone who does a lot of tokenomics is like the models behind where the tokens get their value, or where the people, or like the supply flow of tokens, right? Because like I've done tokenomics for several like exchanges, NFT projects, DeFi projects. So I kind of have a good scope on which ones work the best and why. But I want to understand, and then I also take within the tokenomics the supply flow of the token. Like, okay, if someone buys it in pre-sale, then where does it go to? So sell that, you want those people that buy in pre-sale who took that risk and waited those months to sell some, because the more people that have wallets, the better it is for the project, right? So this is a good thing, even though people view it as a bad thing. But then I look at when do people keep buying that token again? So what is the utility, and do they really need that token? And so I don't know enough about Hex because I haven't done the research, but I'm curious to know, where does the value get derived from so that the price can continually go up if you lock it? And I want to know if it's don't take offense to this, if it's like a Ponzi where more people keep buying in and locking up, and the people who locked up first who are like, ha ha ha, we win. So I'm just saying that. Now, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying that's what I've noticed with a lot of those types of schemes. And maybe that's why people have called Hex a scam.
Sure. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm asking questions because I'm not trying to be a dick. I just want to know so that I have the knowledge, because I don't know. And so I don't know what I don't know. So tell me.
You're not going to offend me. You're not going to offend me at all. I'm friends with people who hate Hex. I don't care.
Me too. Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean, I don't attach emotion to that, because like if you get mad if people don't like Bitcoin, then they're never gonna like Bitcoins. Right. Or if you get mad, they're not gonna like Hex, or they're not gonna like ETH, and you make it like this competition, ADA versus DOT versus, who cares? Like everyone can do well.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
And be like, hey, let's get rich. You know, like, I'm gonna hold this asset because I think it's gonna make me richer faster. And if you think that holding another asset's gonna make you richer faster, like you do you know?
That's
like,
just investing. The difference between traditional investing and this is traditional investors usually had money to lose. So when they invested, they weren't worried. Like, you know, when I do an equity investment, they're like, hey, you an accredited investor? And I say, yes. You know, if I invest $25,000 in equity, I know it can go to zero, and I don't worry about it because I have the money to lose. The problem with crypto is they don't always have the money to lose, and they're not practicing the risk management, and that's when they get wrecked, because you can't get wrecked if you have a 1% loss in a trade. Like, you can lose 1% of your account. If you have 5 trades, you can lose 5%. Worst case, maybe 10. But you know, trading is not for everybody. But yeah, let's get back to that point. Okay, how does Hex derive that value? Because I really think
derive its value. All right. So just like, you know, any asset that needs more people to buy it for it to appreciate, Hex is, you know, just like the dollar, more people need to believe in it for it to have value. More people need to want it. Just like Bitcoin, right? But for Hex, Hex is unique in that it is an asset that when staked, it makes more of itself. And the way that it can guarantee, and it's a complete smart contract, right? So people often refer to it as a project, but this is one thing that I love about Hex. It's not a project. It is a finished, complete, immutable contract. It's a product. So it's not something that you're waiting on something, you know, for somebody to do something for it to increase in value. You're not waiting for nation states to adopt it. Like it increases in value because people who experiment with the protocol and learn about it realize how valuable it is. And the value comes from the locked. So because when you lock up your assets, the longer that you lock them for, the higher the interest that you're guaranteed to earn. So the maximum amount of time that you can lock is 5,555 days. The minimum lock, the minimum lock is 0. So there's no required time lock. You can just hold it for the asset appreciation, as you know, as a trader.
Yeah.
So, and then you can also stake it for any time in between that, but in between 1 day and 5,555 days. Gotcha. You can create staking ladders so that it's set to, restake itself minus the interest. Yep. So like you're programmed to take profits at certain stages, which is really cool. So yeah, it's the value of it comes, and then also the T shares, when you lock your assets, depending on how much you have and for how long you lock them, you're awarded T shares, which is short for trillion shares. So there's a certain number of trillion shares. And then the T shares determine how you're paid out when it gets penalized for ending a stake early.
Okay.
So like if let's say that I said that I was going to lock my assets for 2 years, and then after 1 year, I'm like, no, I really need to realize these gains. I'm going to pull it out. So because I would serve if it was like half the time, right? If I said, then I would get my principal back, but I would lose all my interest. That interest would then be distributed to the remaining stakers relative to their percent holding of the T share.
Gotcha.
And then also the T shares themselves have value. They can only ever ever go up in value in terms of hex. Like they could go up and they could go down in value in terms of dollars if hex, significantly dropped. But in terms of hex, every day the price of T share only gets more and more. And then when stakes end and the T shares are burned, the value of the T shares is distributed among the remaining among all of the remaining hex, but particularly distributed to stakers.
Gotcha. Cool.
So that's where hex gets its value.
So the question is, like, what do people use hex for? Like around the ecosystem? Like, are they using it for payments? Are they using it for like different projects? So what else do they like use hex for other than just like buy and stake?
So staking is hex's, primary use case. It's really its only use case. Like there's no reason theoretically why it couldn't be used as a currency. In fact, people have paid for things in hex. I've been paid for making a commercial in hex. And there are other people who have been paid for goods and services in hex. Like it could, and I think that Richard has said that he intended it to be used to replace fiat currency. However, since right now hex is on Ethereum, it's not free or cheap to transact. No. I mean, like with Ethereum's gas fees the way that they are, ending stakes can be outrageously expensive. Sending people money, like why would you want to pay someone with a less efficient form of money? That just doesn't make any sense at all. And that's really why PulseChain, which we talked about really briefly, and I think that we should get into a little bit more after we look at the chart, is, that's really why the fork of the whole Ethereum ecosystem is coming up.
So what is PulseChain?
So PulseChain is a fork of the entire Ethereum ecosystem. So it's not just Ethereum fork, it's the fork of the state of Ethereum. So everyone who is holding an ERC20 or an ERC771 in their custody at the time of the snapshot from the fork will get a replica of that token on PulseChain. So it will be like, so where we have hex, we'll have p hex. So
what tech is it built on? Like, is it built on like Hyperledger? Like, what are they using that's going to make it faster? Like, is the whole concept to make ETH fast? So
it's actually not built on proof of work. It's 100% proof of stake. So that's what happened is that he, I don't know, Richard and the team of developers who are working, with him have figured out a way to make proof of stake work so that transactions are cheaper and so that there aren't miners who need to be paid out with, competition on the chain.
I'm curious how he's done that. It's interesting. It sounds kind of like the ERC20 converter that Cardano has, and similar to what Moonbeam's going to have for DOT, where they're going to be able to port things over, which is also probably going to be good for alt chains, to be honest. Like, I mean, the problem with DOT projects, for example, everyone had a lot of hype, but the thing is, DOT's not ready. Kusama's really not there yet. They're just started parachain auctions. So I think that people expected too much from it too fast, and it did go like to $50 from like $1. So, and this is a blue chip. That's a lot. So I think that like what the industry is looking for now is just like functionability, and like people want stuff that works and they want to use it. Like you see why NFTs have blown up, because people get to use them. It's fun. Gaming is now blowing up because you can use that, you can play that, you can earn stuff. Actually lets you earn SLP. Those SLP thing, and they're worth money. I made
my own SLP token. I think that SLP is like great. So I get it.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff with like communities that's starting to come out around too. I think
my SLP token is called Hugs, and I created it because everyone was fighting in cryptocurrency over the dumbest stuff, and I was like, let's have hugs.
Yeah, because people always like to take their dick out and be like, boom, look at mine, it's so much bigger than yours.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, who cares, man? Who cares? It's money. You're talking about money. Like, we don't care about money. We care about like crypto. That's why we're here. We believe that fiat is a broken system. That's why we came in. That's why I left teaching to go into crypto, because I felt like, you know, I can impact kids' lives, but I can impact way more people's lives in crypto, because there's no one really helping people. Most people are just there to basically go in and make themselves rich. Like, people are always just like doing whatever works for themselves. I can get rich doing this. So here's Hex.
Yep.
Hex it has some warning signs. Similar to what Bitcoin was having, you know, before it dropped, but it's not really at the same point. I'm just keeping my eye on it. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we got an ascending triangle here. Clearly, we see that the volumes have considerably dropped off, and as the price continues to rise while the volume is dropping, generally it leads to a pullback, which is healthy. Like, we had a pullback here to the Kijun, and we'll likely have a pullback probably around that level again, because very likely we're going to bounce that first. It's not going to get super bearish right away, but I see the signs setting up. So if Bitcoin and everything doesn't get some volume and this start to kind of creep back up again, it's likely that we'll see this Chiku on the daily creep into the candles, this start to creep down and break below the cloud. Now, honestly, after the move it's had, and this is not including the, I don't know, 100x before it, it's already up 30x. It's still up 30x, even with the dump that we had on the rest of the market. So it's done extremely well through that. But I think that, you know, unless more buyers start to come in, it'll have a little stagnation period, maybe some accumulation, maybe a little bit of a dump back down to these levels again, which would give you an opportunity to buy, to be honest. Because what we saw with Bitcoin, we see similar things right now, where this level right here, right below the cloud, it's that 200-day EMA. It's also where our previous Kijun was. This could be a really strong level to come back to. And that's not me saying, oh, Hex is going to shit. It means that it would be a very healthy pullback to see some sideways consolidation if Hex is going to continue going higher. And I mean, you've seen this before with Hex. We saw these pull-ups, the sideways consolidation, and then, you know, new buyers come in. You saw it here too. So you see the pull up, it pulls up, and it pulls it back, pulls up, it pulls it right back. These are normal movements in the market. You should expect that.
So yeah, so there's a lot of people making comments in the chat, and so I'm gonna read them, and then I'm gonna just like, okay, for one thing, like, I don't care honestly. Like, if Hex has a pullback, I'm gonna be enthusiastic, because I love some stable.
You shouldn't get emotional if you love Hex. You should be like, I love Hex. I want it to be cheaper. I want to buy it cheaper. Like, that's the mindset you need to develop as someone. If you're just an investor, it doesn't matter. Investor, trader. Develop the mindset like, when things drop, if you really believe in them long term, this should not be something that worries you. It should be like, yay, it dropped. I get to buy it cheaper. I wanted to buy it cheaper. I've been saying for like however many months it was. So let's say it comes back to here. Since May, you've probably been saying, I want to buy Hex cheaper. I want to buy it at 4 cents again. And then if it comes down to 4 cents, you're going to be like, oh man, Hex is a scam. No, you're going to go and you're going to buy it at 4 cents if you believe in Hex. That's what you should do. Yeah, and you don't attach emotion to this. You go, hey, there's a certain level down here on a daily chart, which is a very macro level that we could see it come down here. Likely it will come to here first, right? It's not going to go all the way down there. So people take it too literal. When I drew the level down here on Bitcoin, it took like a month to actually like play out. So it's not going to happen right away. I'm saying it's warning signs. This could change. But on the 4 hour, we're also seeing the same thing. We're just tightening up. Everything's kind of tightening up. The higher highs are not happening, right? It's like one higher high, but if we break this channel, we'll lose the cloud, and this will just come down. It's a good thing, right? Because if it just goes up all the time, you know, it's probably going to have a nasty pullback again. Yep. And the nasty pullback will be like this one, where it literally drops.
So that specific incident, is that November 2020?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a one-time event. That was Big Payday. So everyone who was staked on Big Payday so all of the unclaimed coins from the free claim Bitcoin period were distributed to stakers on Big Payday. So like the supply of the token doubled, I believe, on that day. So that actually is a macro event that you're looking at and not a trading pattern.
Yeah, so this was just a gigantic token release. People took profit.
Yep.
Then people were like, "Sweet, it's cheap now on this
Yeah,
wick."
and so
they started buying it again.
everyone who free claimed and wasn't able to sell prior to that because all they had done was free claim, and so their tokens were locked until after the big payday. They were able to sell at that time. Plus, there were a lot of people who just really wanted to crash it, like because they just had some kind of vendetta against Hex and against Richard, and who knows what's wrong with people. Anyway,
I'm sure a lot of whales wanted that to happen because whales, we've all seen what Bitcoin 2020 or 2020,
yeah.
21, and you got guys screaming on stage like "fuck Elon." It's like it's a bad look for the industry, so
totally. Yes. And were you like, was that the feeling that you got? Because like that's always been my impression, was that Bitcoiners are like do some maximalism in general does real harm to the industry. Yeah.
I'm not a maxi at all. I'm an opportunist, right? Like, I'm a trader. I'm a chief dealer at a desk at a fund, and we're launching Alpha Stone Capital right now, and like, so this is my thing, man. And I love this, and yeah, Bitcoin. The one thing about it is, people like, and Richard would love that I'm saying this. We have idiots like Peter McCormick who will come on and say there's no such thing as innovation other than Bitcoin. And it's like, dude, like that's like saying that, when Facebook came out and Google came out, Amazon came out, they're like, none of them were innovative, like, because we already had companies. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. You should always look for innovation. Smart people look for new technological innovation because that's where you make money. You make money in two ways in life: investing and real estate. Everything else, you'll make a little bit of money, but you'll make real money doing those two. That's the truth. And I'm sure anyone who invested in Hex, who never invested in anything else in their life, or invested in some currency that only a little bit, and Hex turned into a very large investment for them, they understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What I mean? And the people that sold off after like a few X's, they don't know what I'm talking. They're one marshmallow, get money quick, and then they will never get rich with that mentality.
Time preference is low, and it's okay. It's okay. Not everyone has to have the same time preference. All right, so let's read some of these comments just before we get too far away from it, and we're already like way behind. All right, so this dude don't know there is not much supply. That's true. The supply of Hex is extremely low. So then let's see. He has no idea the pump that's around the corner. Lol. That could be very much the case with PulseChain.
That could be an emotional thing too, right?
It could be. But with PulseChain launching soon and with the sacrifice phase for Pulse coming up, a lot of people are anticipating a pump in the price of Hex. So let's see.
It could, but look what we're seeing here. Lower volume. We got an increase in price and on decrease in volume. We're seeing that it's about
that could be because it's staking though too, right?
Yeah, it could be a little bit of consolidation here, but right, like if it came back up here and tapped there and double topped, it's likely it's going to come down. And this is an opportunity. So, I think in crypto, everyone's like, oh, everything's an extreme. It's like, oh, if you say something's going down, you hate a project. I don't care. I don't care if Hex goes up or down, guys. Like that's not my priority right here. When we look at a chart, I don't care if it's Hex or if this says anything else on the other side of my screen. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Oh no, I don't think anybody is upset because of your analysis.
No, I'm just saying, because like in general in crypto, they get upset, and it's just like, or they assume things. Don't assume things about like traders. People that really are traders don't attach emotional attachment to Hex or anything else. And it's because if we do,
are not traders, and that's because they've been trained not to be, because essentially, like if you were trading Hex, you've lost, instead of
if you tried to trade and you don't know what you're doing, 98% of you will lose money. Yes, it's fact.
So Marco super chatted, said, show him V1 of Hex, the true structure of Hex. Marco, how do you want me to do that? I'm not exactly sure.
Is this this is only 2021, so I don't know. I don't know where I can see that.
Yeah, good question. Maybe Trading View?
Hey, Paprika? They might
No.
have it on there. They seem to have a lot of.
So Nomics
They
actually has
usually.
more assets listed than any other coin ranking website.
It does. Which one?
Nomics, which is what we
Oh.
were just on.
Yeah, but their charting is not so great. So let's see if we can get a better charting.
Okay.
Again, this one doesn't have it. I think
Try TradingView.
I do. Like this is TradingView.
Oh, that's TradingView. Okay.
Where did Hex list originally? Like
Where
the first
was
exchange?
what exchange? Uniswap.
Okay, so it should be. Oh, but Uniswap didn't. They didn't have Uniswap. The data, they didn't have it for Uniswap before. Let me see if Wrapped Hex is gonna show more.
Maybe there's a chart on hex.com. It may be on hex.com.
Let's try it.
Okay, someone says that I should tell you that over 5 billion in USD is hard locked with the average duration of 5.71 years. That's with the gatekeeping. So yes, there's a use case. I don't think that he denied that there was a use case, guys. Like, I mean, staking and time locking seems like a reasonable use case to any reasonable person, which Coach definitely seems like he is.
Yeah, I don't attach emotion to this stuff. Like, just don't do that. There's no need to. Like, that's how you lose money. Here, there we go. This is the smallest chart known to mankind. I wish I could make it bigger, but Hex has done what? That can't be right. That's an insane amount of gains. So if you've been in Hex, you're at like what is that? 160,000x.
160. I thought that we were closer to like. I thought that it was closer. I think we have not hit the 10,000x number yet, which would be 40 cents.
This is kind of confusing. Then this is showing not.
Oh,
I don't know if it's
saying Uniswap version 1.
Uniswap v1. But is there a way to chart it?
1700x. 1700x.
1700x. Wow. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to chart this. Oh, this is my chart of Hex before, so I told people to watch this last time.
Uniswap version 1. Guys, how do we get to Uniswap version 1? Someone drop a link?
So far it was following. It kept pushing higher and kept going, but then it stalled right here. And it's a weird time to stall because it's in June that it stalled. Like
I believe that now you're looking at the T-share chart. Are you looking at the T-share chart?
It just says Hex USDT.
Okay, Hex USDT. All right.
So there's that one, and then there's Hex USDC, and then there's Wrapped Hex, but
you can find on TradingView. Okay, so it says here, someone says, oh, Cryptogramma. All right, here we go. You can find it on TradingView. Pick Hex USDC version 1.
V1. Do I have to write version 1? I don't know. I don't know the ticker. Like, usually it would just pop up here. That's the only one that pops up is this one. And
told me to check my DM.
I was charting.
Okay. Here, I've got it. I've got it.
You got it?
Yep, I've got it. So I'm going to I'm just going to send it to you so that you can bring it up on the screen.
Yeah. Send it in the chat.
Yeah.
In that little chat box. Sorry, guys. We're having a little technical difficulties. Then this is probably one of the reasons why I didn't really look at text, to be honest, because when I can't chart something, I don't generally trade it.
All right. So I just sent it to you in the private chat.
All right. Okay. Let's do it.
Thank you all very much for your help.
Oh, uniswap.hex.vision. Ah, interesting. Okay. There we go. Look at that. That's very nice. I can't, I don't have the ability to have all my stuff set up though, so it's going to take a second just to get Ichimoku. Not that I really need to, but it's good to have it. Just draw a couple levels on here. Let's see. Interesting. Go on the weekly. Yeah, I'm sure Hex people are very happy with their their investment. Actually, they didn't even have to invest in it.
No, yeah, there's a lot of people who just got their tokens for free, and I mean, I think that anybody who's still around is like has definitely put their own, their own crypto into Hex at this point because of just how much of the performance they've seen,
Yeah, and that's not. I mean, it's expected, right? You kind of expect that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we can see like all the levels that it's popped up. I mean, I like to do it on the weekly because it's really clear and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just pop down to the daily, even though it's not my normal chart. You can still use that, of course. And let me just change these. So if you're not a trader, but you like to follow Ichimoku traders, you have to set up your chart like an Ichimoku trader. So you use a 20, 60, 120, and 30 because crypto does not close. So what that means is crypto, like other things, like other markets,
the
open
markets
and
close, yeah.
Crypto doesn't. So you have to double your settings based off of that. Okay, so I'm still seeing similar things, right? Like we're clearly like topped out here and we're making a lower high. So here's, higher high, we're making higher high, we're making higher high, making a higher high, and then we're making a lower high. So that's the first warning sign. Again, we're only really looking for it to come back down to this level right down here. So let me this is only like 6.8 cents. So that'd be like my first buy zone. My second buy zone would be probably around here in this little range right there, around 5.3, 5.33, and then I would buy again here, right off this former Kijin level.
So someone just says this chart would make any real trader cream their pants.
Yeah, if they bought down here.
Not if they don't already have some, maybe.
You know what? If you're a trader and you're looking to buy a project and you come to a chart like this. Project.
Not the same.
I know, just semantics for right now. But if I see a chart that does this, I am going to wait for it to do this before I go in.
Mm-hmm.
How does it show 100%? That doesn't even make any sense. I'm going to wait for at least a 50% pullback on this chart.
And what if that 50% pullback never happens?
Then I'll wait and I'll go in another time when it comes to me. The difference between me and a lot of the people, when I'm looking at trades, I usually have like 15, 20 trades a day that I'm looking at. They're not all going to be good trades, but they're all set up that they could be a trade. And so if one doesn't come to my entry, so what? Who gives a shit? There's going to be another one that comes to the entry. And so like yesterday, I entered 4 trades. I think we took profit on a couple. Some of them are still open, a little bit above what we entered because the market dumped. And it's like no big deal. We just roll on. No, like there's no problem there. But like coming back to the original point, like when you see a chart do this, you really need to see it stagnate and drop, kind of like it did here. Drop before you buy in. And look at how awesome the buy-in is if you buy in here. Right? There's support. It came right down. You could buy in right there. Same thing here. Busts above, comes back to that same level of support, which used to be an all-time high before. So we just like keep it simple. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're not in Hex and you want to be in Hex, you don't buy up here. You wait till it comes back down. And if it doesn't come back down, you wait till it goes back down again because it's going to come down. Nothing goes up only. It all has.
True. Unless you're one of those people who's like, you know what? I don't care. I don't want to risk the possibility of a downside. I want to just buy it and stake it for a year so that I can earn the 40% interest. So I'm not worried about the potential for small drops. And that's,
the only thing I'm worried about.
A lot of Hexicans have.
The only thing I'm worried about is another event like this when big unlocks happen. Because
there's no
let's say Hex goes higher.
That was a one-time event. There's no more unlocks. There was no seed round. There's no.
No, I mean, like when people's time lock.
Oh yeah.
Because this is what I'm talking about, deriving the value from the token again. Because I don't know what Hex's market cap is, but it's quite high, right? Because you have $5 billion TVL locked, right? Huge. Mm-hmm. The thing is, when stuff starts to unlock, that liquidity that's locked is still going to be somehow accessible so people can sell. At one point, there's going to be a liquidity problem because unless Hex, the product makes a lot of money and has money coming in from something, right? People paying for something, and Hex becoming more valuable because there's actual capital coming into the coin. It's just people putting their money into the coin and locking it. So my concern is that if you did like a 3-year lock, and then let's say a lot of people do them and their 3-year lock ends, what's stopping all of them who just made like hundreds of X's from dumping? And where is the liquidity going to come from to let all these people cash out? It might work for some, but it won't work for everyone. And I think that's my main concern with it. And I think maybe that's what other people are saying. And then they use the word scam and everyone doesn't give them any credibility because they use that. But that's what I would be concerned about from someone who's an investor and runs a fund. I look at that first. Like, so I would maybe need Richard needs to come and explain where the money coming in from is coming from, or if it's just basically people filling the pot, and the ones who exit the pot early or have their time lock finish, they are the winners. So it's just, and I think maybe the people in your feed will hate me for saying that stuff, but at the same time, they should be thinking about this too, because
there are a lot of people right now saying July has a large amount of stakes ending, so it may come down a bit. And there's a lot of people who are saying, like, I mean, Richard was on BitBoy on Around the Blockchain today, and he said, like, with any crypto, Hex included, we should expect to see 80-90% pullbacks. Yep. It's that's the reason why why earning the interest on the time locks is so appealing, though. It's because even when the asset depreciates, you're increasing your quantity of it without having to do anything.
Yeah, of course. So like staking is a methodology that we're still learning about. I think Morgan Stanley came out last week and they said it's going to be a $40 billion industry, a staking industry. So people do realize that. I just want to know, because a lot of projects, they're like, we're doing staking. And I'm like, okay, you're adding more tokens to the supply. This is not the same. So don't count Hex in here. I'm just giving an example. But a lot of projects do staking. And you're like, okay, no one's using your token yet. Now you're giving more free tokens away. And why do you think the price is just constantly dumping? Because you're giving free tokens away. Yep. Now with Hex, we've seen only one event like that. But yeah, maybe in July will be your opportunity, if all those are unlocking, to get those lower lows and to buy those lows, right? That also, on the other side, just to play devil's advocate, could lead to a lot of people early unstaking and retaking their money out because they start to panic. And honestly, so many people aren't used to seeing, 80% drops. They might do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That could happen. You're right. So they love you. They're like, that's literally the first time I've ever heard someone bring a valid concern about Hex. I'm impressed. Coach is good shit.
Thank you guys.
And then, so people sell over $100,000 worth of Hex every day, every hour.
I saw Richard posted one yesterday or 2 days ago about $2 million, and it was no issue with the price. And that's it's great. My only concern is a mass exodus. If not everyone mass exodus, it's no problem.
But that same concern exists with any asset.
Yes.
Anytime, there's always the possibility that there's going to be a mass exodus. And part of Richard's argument for, the actual utility of the OA controlling so much of the supply is that when more, at least it controls that entity isn't going to be a part of the mass exodus.
Yes.
That makes sense. It's useful to, I don't know, think of it that way, but I do hear your concerns. I'm a multi-coiner and a lover of stable coins like yourself.
Oh man, stable coins are awesome.
I love
connoisseur of stable coins, right? And people are like, well, why would you want a stable coin? It's like $1. I'm like, but dude,
because I know it's gonna still be worth $1 tomorrow.
The DeFi is legit, though. You could take US dollars and make more money. So why wouldn't you do that? Especially, so you're saying, here's some good stuff for people that are on your channel. So everyone's talking, they're not a trader. That's fine. You think the only thing I do is trade to make money? No, I stake and I also use farming. And there's some really great places that you can throw stable coins and make money and do nothing. Don't have to put effort. Same as what Hex is doing, right? So that's also something just for your
Oh no,
guys to know.
there's actually like a lot of Mexicans who are really into yield on stable coins. Not
Yield app,
necessarily with like, sorry?
like Yield app is one of them. They're really hot. Like you get 17.5 to 20% a year if you hold only like $7,000 of their tokens, like for right now. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm really big on the banks on chain, like the Equifys, and so for example, there's right now that you can use. There's Yield app, there's Allbit. So these guys basically take your funds and they take all the risk, all the impermanent loss, all the chance of getting rug pulled, and they take all the risk and they give you a yield every single day, right? So every day you get yield, and so I'm looking for like the Anchor, the Yield app, the Nexo, the Celsius, the BlockFi's. If you guys don't know about any of these things, you should all look them up.
No, we're definitely familiar. A lot of Hexicans are also Celsius ambassadors.
Nice.
A lot of, I work for a crypto marketing company, so there's an exchange. Like there are a lot of there's a lot of maximalism, like full pure maximalism. But there's also a lot of people who look for ways to generate passive income, and definitely those things exist, and stablecoins are a really, really important part of that. Absolutely. So
yeah,
I
what
love
they should do is make a Hex DeFi. Do you guys doing anything? Is Hex doing anything on DeFi?
So Hex,
like where you could stake your dollars and earn Hex or something?
So Hex is a decentralized finance product all by itself, because you don't you control your admin keys the whole time. But I imagine that so with the launch of Pulse, there's going to be all kinds of new stuff. People who
I would assume that Pulse will have the KCS, the Matic, that type of when it launches, that type of hype cycle where like all the stuff that launches around or on it will definitely moon. You know what I mean? And it's just the reason why that happens is community. All the projects with strong communities do well long term. Mm-hmm. Part of my assessment of if the project is something I want to invest into, I look at their Twitter, I look at their socials. I want to see if their Telegram has any activity. And the reason for that is like if people really are active and they really are passionate, your project will do well. And like this is why I invest in people, and this is why I like CEOs that are front facing and talk and are well articulated and have a good plan. Sorry, my trade thing's going off here.
No,
that's just okay. That's an alert to tell me I should enter a trade. So that's a positive.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take a quick look, but it should be. Oh, finally! I waited for days for this entry. Awesome. So can't complain.
All right, I'm so happy for you.
Yes. No complaints. So we'll see. So that's AVAX right now. It's got a nice trade on the 4-hour chart. We'll see if Bitcoin starts to play nice later on today, and we'll see. But
all right.
Today's one of those days you gotta be careful. Bitcoin is like, I might drop back to 30K and give Coach another opportunity to buy me down there. So
yeah, I didn't get back in. I was just like, nah. So I got out
before this week. I did 7 trades in a month.
At the second time it hit 62, before it hit 64, and then was kind of panicky, because it kept going up, and then I was like, oh, and then someone told me what I need to do is just take profits and reward myself so that even if it keeps going up, I train myself for that behavior. So then ever since then, I've just been it's okay. So I took enough profits to
take a 10% every time there's a green.
So I took enough profits to pay my rent and utilities for a year. And I was like, man, my life is so much better.
Yes, you don't need to have everything in coin all the time. The mentality of I have to have coin or have to be in a trade loses people more money than actually anything else a lot of the time. It's just I have to have Bitcoin. It's if you want to hold Bitcoin, you can put it, or ETH, put it on Ledger. You want to hold Hex, same thing, put it on Ledger. Don't think about it, right? Lock it, don't think about it. If you really believe in it, leave it.
Thanks.
That's the only difference for me.
I appreciate it. Someone just took a bong rip for me.
Oh, nice. What kind of bud? Some Cali Kush? Some OG?
Okay, so one question for you as a stablecoin connoisseur, I want you to know that actually, so any stablecoins that you hold on Ethereum that are in your custody, you'll actually get a duplicate copy of on PulseChain. And we don't know what's going to happen in terms of price discovery yet, but might be
I
worth.
have a lot of coins, so that means there's gonna be a lot of PulseChain coins.
Yeah, I
on
mean,
my,
like, what if they did? What if they did just like somehow reach, like, what if you just doubled your stablecoin stack? So really, like, I mean, we want people to learn about Pulse. We want people to learn about Hex. We want people to, invest if they think that it's something that they're interested in. But what we're really interested in, like, I mean, at least my primary objective right now, with the way that the market has been, for the last few months, the way that a lot of people are feeling about their investments, is to get the word out to the most number of people that they are about to get the largest airdrop in history, but they do have to be paying attention because you will have to claim it and it won't just be like automatically dispersed. So that's one reason why, we're reaching out to.
Are they going to do the same thing too? Like disperse all the extra coins to the people that actually claim and stuff?
No. So, that
would just destroy it. That's what I'm asking.
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think that there's going to be a big payday-like event. I think that unclaimed coins are burned. I'm not entirely sure. That's
that would
a good
be
question.
awesome too if they burned them all, because it'd be great for all the people that actually claim it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. So
the only thing I'm wondering is, where is the liquidity coming from? Like, where are they going to generate that?
Yeah, so that's a question, and so that's one thing that has been said is, like, just because you're getting a duplicate of the coin doesn't mean you're getting a duplicate of the coin's value. Everything will have to go into price discovery, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen because something like this has not happened before. So someone just asked, not on an exchange or cold storage. It actually can be on cold storage, but not on an exchange. It does have to be in your custody.
Not your keys, not your crypto. That means that Binance will claim all of those coins themselves.
Actually, they're blocked. So they
are?
Yep. So the addresses that have like massive holdings, like, Coinbase addresses and your Binance's, Bittrex, those big exchanges.
Whales too?
I'm not sure what the cutoff is, but the way that it's working is, so ERC20s and ERC771s are like the pair, the same quantities.
Yep.
But with Ethereum, to kind of prevent whales from taking the price of Pulse, you still get a 1-for-1 copy of your ETH, but on Pulse it's diluted because there's like 10,000x Pulse supply for every one Ethereum.
Okay, gotcha. So if Ethereum whales are still going to be whales, but not as big of a whale.
Yes. I mean,
denomination.
But I'm not exactly sure what the cutoff is, and that's something that I should know. So I'm glad that came up in the stream. What exactly the cutoff is for, like, how much, or if it has to be that it's a known exchange wallet that is specifically excluded from the airdrop. But yeah,
that's cool. I think that's pretty interesting. We'll see how that plays out.
So, well, hopefully at some point, like maybe when it's time, you can let your audience know that they can free claim. It's up to you, of course.
I'm going to let them know they can free claim.
Thank you.
The one thing that people are really funny about is, like, just because I've said a negative thing about Hex in the past, they think like I'll always hate it. I don't really care. Like, I just didn't like what Richard was being like towards people, and that made me not want to be involved. That's all. It was really just a moral thing, to be honest. Because, like, I don't do that to people on stream ever. It's just not nice. I'm just a nice person, I guess. I'm Canadian. Sorry.
Okay, so someone's saying multi-sig wallets probably won't be allowed to claim, but we need to fact check on that. And then someone is saying, oh, and you do have to claim within 30 days or the coins will be taken back.
Okay, so what will someone have to do? Is it like a website? Is it just like a normal token claim like they would do? Is it a new wallet that they're going to get with that?
It's just going to be like a MetaMask, like, a flip.
Like
or
Polygon and SmartChain, an integration.
MetaMask, yeah. So it's just simple like that. And then in terms of...
Curious, is Pulse an L2? Is Pulse like Matic? Is it a layer 2?
It's not a layer 2. It's actually a complete independent chain, but it could like reasonably be thought of as a side chain because it could function that way. But like where Polygon has admin, like they take the Polygon has the admin keys. Pulse will not. So you will
Gotcha.
still be in custody of your coins and tokens on PulseChain.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's good. I like when, like, it seems that as much as Richard got shit on, like, he had his heart in the right place. And I think that I think a lot of the people caught him after so much trolling that he just didn't give a fuck anymore. And I honestly didn't understand it back then. But oh my God, being an influencer in the space full time for the whole bull market, I understand it now. Oh, I understand it now. Because people hate on you for no reason. Like, you don't even do anything. And they're like, I hate you. You talked about a project and it went down. I'm like, sorry. I'm still in those projects. Like, the one thing I find the funniest, I'm still in a lot of the projects, actually almost all the projects that I was really talking about a lot because I'm working with them. I'm advising them and stuff. And people hate me for them. And I'm like, why do you hate me? I built this cool project with the team and I believe in it. And yeah, maybe it goes down because things went up 200x, and that's just ridiculous for it to stay that high, you know, like right away, especially with token releases and stuff like that. So it's just about, I think people didn't understand how that works, like how the industry works. And it's like every time, I don't know if you were ever one of them, I was one of them, where you come into ICOs, you really don't know, and you're trying to follow people to figure out which ones, because there's like 1,000 every single week. It's impossible to stay on top.
I was never that person. No, I mean, like, that's why I got into crypto in like late 2016, like mid 2016. And I think like I got into it, like I did a couple of ICOs, but they were ICOs that I was like, oh, I totally understand what they're trying to do. And also like totally understood the risk of losing 100% of my money and was like, I'm okay with it because I want to see what happens.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the things in 2017 though, like you don't know when these are coming up, and you don't really know for sure if the blockchain tech would even make sense yet. Like you're trying to learn this, even if you know your knowledge is pretty, you know, it's great about how it works. The concept of those things you think are great, they present them really nice. You're like, oh man, that would be really cool to be able to buy cars on chain or whatever. Like use Bitcoin to buy a car, and that was like a whole concept of a whole project, and that was a horrible idea.
Yeah, it was like a white paper and a dream, and then like they just cashed out and ran.
Even some that didn't. The ideas didn't make a lot of sense, and they didn't think them through. And because everything's so fast, it just goes, and everyone invests like because they want to get in. And that's what we saw at launch pads. Everyone made a launch pad, you know, and everyone was complaining when the first launch pads came out because they weren't getting a proper allocation. And then there's like 1,000 launch pads, and then and then at the point when all of them start coming out, the market turns and no one wants anything. No one wants to invest in any of these projects anymore, you know, because they didn't do research and they don't even know what the projects even do. So I think that this is why I ask a lot about Hex, because I really do ask a lot. I want to know the hard questions, where the money comes from, how it makes money, how Pulse will work. This is really awesome.
This is my mom. She just said something really smart, so I'm gonna share it. She said, Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard studied 7 economic levels of society for 50 years to find what makes anyone from any class go from poor to wealthy in a working lifetime. Time, perspective.
Yeah, you know what she's talking about? What's the most valuable currency in life? Time. It's the only currency that you cannot get more of.
And the monetization of time.
Yeah. And why do rich people usually have a more patient outlook on life? Because they're not trying to do it quickly.
So, and then someone is saying that I should send you the Hex 2020 Rewind video, and I will send that to you. I'll actually send you some materials after we get off of this stream, because I think that you'll actually enjoy them, and I believe that you'll have a look. I really, really appreciate your time coming in today. Yeah, the name of my show is Building Bridges, and so kind of one thing that I like to do to wrap things up is to ask, Coach K, will you build a bridge with me?
Yeah.
So the way that works, it's the opposite of how you think it is. You have to take, and then, there we go. We built a bridge. We built a bridge with Coach K. You guys, he's going to let his audience know about the free claim for Pulse. That's awesome. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you all so much for watching. Hey, on Saturday, speaking of like IDO launchpads, I need to know what the first one that's going to be on Pulse is, because I've got a project that's about, it's called, well, so we'll hear all about it on Saturday. It's called Unreal Finance, and it's about tokenizing yield so that you can realize so that you can realize your interest without actually unstaking your tokens and while you're still accumulating interest. That's really interesting for me. And it must be probably pretty interesting for a lot of people out there. Hexagons.
If you like persistence, you would like Unreal. I've invested in Unreal Finance myself, and P-Stake on persistence is very similar to Unreal Finance. I think both are fantastic, and you need more of that, and they're the only two who are doing it. So, I look for innovation, like I told you, innovation of tech. That's why Peter McCormick and I don't get along, because he doesn't believe in innovation. I'm a big believer of that.
That's a problem with Maxis in general. All right, Coach, hang on for 1 second. I got to talk to you about something. Everyone else, you guys are awesome. I love you. I'll see you on Saturday.